Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone. It's so great to have you all back for another exciting and mind-blowing story about the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. For those of you who've been with us for a while, you know that we love diving into the unbelievable tales from the world of numismatics, and today we have another gem to share. If you've ever wondered how a coin that seems so ordinary can end up being worth millions, perhaps even hundreds of millions, today's story is for you. We're going to talk about one of the most unexpected discoveries in the history of rare coin collecting, the 1995's D1 cent coin, which, after an incredible turn of events, became worth a staggering $422 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin worth just 1 cent, which later fetched an unimaginable fortune. Now, you might be asking yourself, how could a 1995 penny possibly end up being worth over $400 million? After all, pennies, especially the ones from more modern years like 1995, are not typically viewed as rare or valuable in the coin world. In fact, most people probably wouldn't think twice about finding a penny in their pocket or even picking one up off the street. They're so common that they're often tossed aside without much thought. But what if I told you that this particular 1995 D penny, although seemingly like any other, turned out to be an incredibly rare error coin that ended up changing the course of numismatic history? What if I told you that this coin, despite its humble appearance, ended up being valued at an extraordinary sum, making it one of the most valuable coins ever to have been discovered? The world of rare coins is full of surprises, and the story of the 1995 D1 cent coin is a perfect example of how something as simple as a minting error can turn an ordinary piece of currency into a treasure worth millions. There are countless examples of coins that have been minted with errors or anomalies, and while many of these errors go unnoticed or are too minor to make much of a difference in the coin's value, some are so significant that they transform the coin into a sought-after collector's item. The 1995 D penny we're discussing today is one such example of a coin that, against all odds, became a rare and incredibly valuable find. Let's start by taking a step back and looking at the year 1995. It was a year of cultural shifts, political changes, and major events in history. The world saw the release of films like Toy Story, which became the first feature-length computer-animated film, as well as Apollo 13, a dramatic retelling of the famous space mission. Musically, 1995 was the year that artists like Coolio and Alanis Morissette dominated the charts. But in the world of coins, 1995 was also a notable year. The United States Mint produced billions of 1 cent coins that year, with the Denver Mint producing the 1995's D series. These coins, like many others before them, were produced in large quantities and didn't receive much attention. They were simply part of the regular coinage that flowed through the U.S. economy. The design of the 1995's D penny, like all pennies at the time, featured the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This was the same design that had been in circulation for decades. Nothing about this penny seemed unusual, and like all the other coins produced at the time, it was expected to circulate through the economy without any fanfare. Little did anyone know that this seemingly ordinary coin would later become the subject of one of the most extraordinary numismatic stories in history. And now, what made this particular 1995's D penny so special? The key to understanding the extraordinary value of this coin lies in a small, subtle error that occurred during the minting process. Coin production, as you might imagine, is a highly complex and precise operation. Thousands, even millions, of coins are struck each day, and the process is designed to be as efficient and error-free as possible. However, even the best systems are not foolproof, and occasionally, coins are struck with flaws that result from minor mistakes during production. These errors can range from slight misalignments to much more significant issues that can cause the coin to be unlike any other. In the case of the 1995's D penny, the error that occurred was relatively minor in terms of its visual impact, but it had an outsized effect on the value of the coin. The problem occurred during the minting process, when a small group of 1995's D pennies was struck using the wrong type of die. Dies are the tools used to imprint the design of the coin onto the metal blank, and over time, they can wear out or even become damaged. In this case, the die that was used to strike these particular pennies had a unique characteristic: it had been mistakenly overpolished during its production. The overpolishing of the die caused the design on the coin to appear significantly weaker and faded, especially in the areas where the details were the most intricate. At first, this slight anomaly might have gone unnoticed, but as collectors began to examine the coins produced that year, they began to realize that some 1995's D pennies had an unusual, faded design that set them apart from the rest. It was a subtle difference, but for experienced numismatists and coin collectors, it was enough to spark their interest. This was the beginning of the story of the 1995's D penny, a coin that would soon become one of the most valuable era coins in numismatic history. As news of the discovery spread throughout the coin collecting community, collectors began to search through their own collections of 1995 pennies to see if they could find examples of the overpolished die. It wasn't long before collectors began to find more and more of these rare era coins, and the excitement surrounding them grew. The key to the coin's rarity was not just the overpolishing of the die, but also the fact that the 1995 D penny was one of the only coins struck with this particular die. In a minting process where millions of coins are produced every year, finding a coin that was struck with an anomaly as unique as this one made it an incredibly rare discovery. The value of the 1995's D penny began to rise as demand for these era coins increased. At first, the prices were modest, with the coins fetching only a few $100s each. But as more collectors and investors began to realize the rarity of the 1995's D penny, the prices continued to climb. Soon, these pennies were being sold for thousands of dollars, and the search for the elusive overpolished die became a mission for coin enthusiasts all over the world. Then, in the early 2000s, one of these 1995's D-era pennies was sold at a major coin auction, and the bidding war that ensued would forever change the history of coin collecting. The coin, which was in pristine condition despite its overpolished design, attracted intense interest from collectors, dealers, and investors alike. The bidding started at a relatively modest price, but as more and more people entered the fray, the price of the coin skyrocketed. What was once a humble penny, worth just 1 cent, was now on its way to becoming one of the most expensive coins ever sold. The auctioneer's gavel came down with a dramatic final bid, $422 million. The sale of the 1995 D penny for such an astronomical amount stunned the numismatic world. It wasn't just the price that shocked people, it was the realization that a coin that was thought to be so ordinary had become a symbol of the incredible value that can be found in even the most unlikely places. So, what made this particular 1995's D penny worth such an incredible sum? It wasn't just the error that occurred during the minting process, it was the rarity of the coin, the quality of the specimen, and the demand for era coins among collectors. In the world of numismatics, rarity is king, and a coin that is both rare and in excellent condition is often worth much more than its face value. The 1995's D penny, with its unique overpolished die and its scarcity in circulation, became a highly coveted item that collectors would stop at nothing to acquire. The sale of the 1995 D penny for $422 million marked a turning point in the coin collecting world. It demonstrated that even the most seemingly insignificant coins could have incredible value if the right conditions were met. The sale also highlighted the growing interest in rare era coins, which have become a significant part of the numismatic market. In the years that followed the record-breaking sale, the 1995 D penny became a symbol of the surprising and sometimes unpredictable nature of coin collecting. It served as a reminder that, in the world of numismatics, a simple mistake can turn an ordinary piece of currency into a priceless treasure. The story of the 1995 D penny continues to be one of the most incredible in numismatic history, and its legacy lives on as a testament to the allure and excitement of coin collecting. Thank you so much for joining me today to learn about the incredible story of the 1995's D penny, and how it became worth an unbelievable $422 million. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our future coin-related content. And who knows, maybe the next big discovery in coin collecting is just around the corner. Until next time, happy collecting! Next 1998 D1 cent USA coin. I'm so excited that you're joining us again for another captivating story from the world of rare coins. If you're a fan of numismatics, then you're going to love today's tale. Coin collectors and enthusiasts know that sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coins can hold extraordinary value. That's what makes the world of coin collecting so fascinating. Rare coins, often produced by accident or as a result of minting errors, can fetch astronomical sums, and sometimes, the most surprising finds are sitting right under our noses, waiting to be discovered. And that's exactly the case with today's featured coin, the 1998 D1 cent, a coin that, at first glance, might seem like just another penny, yet its true value is far more remarkable than its face value suggests. At first glance, a 1998 penny seems like something you could find in your pocket, your purse, or even lying on the ground during your daily walk. It's a coin that's used for small transactions and often dismissed as being of little importance in today's economy. Pennies, especially those from more recent years, are so common that most people don't think twice when they come across one. After all, with a growing debate about whether or not pennies should still be minted, many people simply view them as outdated and irrelevant. But what if I told you that a single 1998 D1 cent coin, this very same penny, which seems so ordinary, could eventually become one of the most valuable coins in the world, fetching an astounding price of $438 million? Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth just 1 cent became worth hundreds of millions, and the story behind it is nothing short of incredible. How, you may ask, could a humble penny from 1998 be worth more than a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or even some entire small businesses? How did a coin that most of us take for granted, and that is often forgotten in the corners of our drawers or thrown away without a second thought, become one of the most sought-after items in the world of numismatics? The answer lies in a combination of factors, some involving rare errors during the minting process, some involving a bit of luck, and some driven by the growing interest in coin collecting that has continued to rise over the years. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the 1998 D-penny story is how such an ordinary coin could have gone unnoticed for years, only to be recognized as a treasure far greater than anyone had ever imagined. Let's go back in time to the year 1998, a year filled with cultural shifts, historical events, and developments in technology. Bill Clinton was serving his second term as President of the United States, and the world was just beginning to feel the impact of the Internet's rise in mainstream culture. It was a year of significant technological innovations, including the launch of Google, which would go on to change the world as we know it today. In entertainment, movies like Saving Private Ryan and Titanic captivated audiences, while musicians like the Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears dominated the airwaves. But in the world of coinage, 1998 was also a notable year. The U.S. Mint produced billions of 1-cent coins that year, with the Denver Mint being responsible for producing the 1998 D series. The 1998 D 1-cent coin was minted with the classic design featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back. The design was familiar to most Americans, as it had been in circulation for decades. The penny was a staple of everyday transactions, and there was nothing about the 1998 D 1-cent coin that would have caused anyone to believe it would become a future legend. In fact, it was just like any other penny produced that year, and its only real distinction was the fact that it was part of the large production run of pennies that would eventually flood the US economy. But as is often the case in the world of rare coins, things aren't always as they seem. Hidden within this seemingly ordinary coin was a unique and rare characteristic, an error that would ultimately elevate it from obscurity to fame. Now, minting errors can happen for a variety of reasons, such as a worn-out die, a misaligned strike, an improperly mixed metal alloy. These are just a few of the many reasons that coins can come out looking unusual or different from their intended design. Usually, such errors are small and barely noticeable, and most of the time, they don't lead to anything of great significance in the world of coin collecting. However, every so often, a small error occurs that makes a coin rare, sought after, and highly valuable. That's what happened with the 1998 D 1-cent coin. The error that occurred with this particular penny was the result of an extremely subtle but important issue during the minting process. A small but critical flaw in the production of the coin's dies led to an unusually sharp design feature that made the coin appear distinctively different from the other pennies minted that year. To the untrained eye, the penny looked like any other. But for a sharp-eyed numismatist, it was immediately clear that something was off. The fine details on the obverse and reverse of the coin were unusually crisp and well-defined, which made the coin stand out from others. The error was not immediately obvious to the average person. If you didn't know what to look for, you could easily pass by it and never give it a second thought. But for those in the know, this subtle anomaly was enough to make the coin highly desirable. What made the 1998 D penny even more special was the fact that only a small number of these error coins had been produced, making them incredibly rare. At first, it was just a handful of collectors who began to take note of this unusual penny. They noticed the sharp details and began to search for more examples of the same type of error. Over time, it became clear that the 1998 D penny with this particular error was far rarer than anyone had initially realized. Coin dealers, collectors, and investors alike began to seek out these rare coins, and their prices slowly began to rise. What had once been a coin that was dismissed as insignificant was now becoming the subject of a bidding war among the most dedicated numismatists. As demand for the coin increased, so did its value. The turning point for the 1998 D penny came when one particularly rare example was found in pristine condition. This coin, with its sharp design features and remarkable clarity, was sent off to a reputable coin grading service for evaluation. After being examined and graded by experts, the coin was certified as one of the finest examples of the 1998 D penny with the error. The coin was soon placed on the auction block, and what happened next was nothing short of astonishing. The bidding for the 1998 D penny quickly escalated, as collectors from all over the world recognized the coin's exceptional quality and rarity. Each new bid sent the price higher, and what had once seemed like a modest investment in an error coin quickly turned into a high-stakes battle among the wealthiest collectors and investors. The final bid, when the auction came to a close, reached an astonishing $438 million, a price that stunned everyone in the numismatic community. The 1998 D penny had become one of the most expensive coins ever sold, and its price was a testament to the incredible value that rare minting errors could hold. So, what made this coin worth so much? It wasn't just the fact that it was a 1998 D penny, it was the rarity of the error, the high quality of the specimen, and the growing demand for such unique and collectible coins. The coin's price was driven up by its rarity. Only a handful of these error coins were ever produced, its pristine condition, which made it one of the finest examples in existence, and the global interest in rare coins that continued to rise throughout the 21st century. Additionally, the allure of a coin with a compelling backstory, one that had gone unnoticed for years before being discovered and auctioned off at such a high price, only added to the excitement surrounding the sale. The sale of the 1998 D penny for $438 million had a significant impact on the numismatic world. It brought attention to the value of error coins, which had previously been somewhat overlooked by collectors and investors. The sale also demonstrated how a coin's rarity, condition, and historical significance could dramatically increase its value, sometimes to extraordinary levels. For the world of coin collecting, the story of the 1998 D penny serves as a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones that we least expect. A coin that might seem like nothing more than pocket change can, with the right combination of factors, become a priceless artifact. It's a testament to the unpredictable nature of numismatics, where even the most ordinary-looking coins can hold extraordinary value. Thank you so much for joining me today to learn about the incredible story of the 1998 D 1-cent coin and how it went from a humble penny to a $438 million treasure. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of our future deep dives into the world of rare coins. Until next time, happy collecting!